What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Pour. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Brian.
And Brian, happy belated birthday to Brian. Brian celebrated a birthday in the last several years. Brian, you've been going down to Kentucky on the Bourbon Trail for that. So tell us where you went for this year's.
Okay. So this year, last 2 years, we went to Bardstown. And we decided to go more down toward the Lexington area, Frankfort, and kind of that direction. So I kind of mapped out. I'm a big... when we have trips, I map everything out. I have to know my itinerary of what's going on, and my wife hates it. She's more of a let's just get there and sit and not do anything, but I have to have it mapped out. So we mapped it out to the first stop along the way. We went camping. So I had my camper, and I had been to Jeb DeCreed not a few months ago, and I knew that they had a big parking lot. So we pulled in there, and actually I went to pick up the bottled and bond. And we sat down. We were going to eat there, so they got great pizza, great pizza. And I got an old fashioned, and then the old fashioned was made with the red, white, and blue bourbon that had just came out. So walked over there, and I was like, man, I really wanted to get the bottled and bond. And Patty goes, well, it's your birthday. Why don't you just get that red, white, and blue? So I was like, okay, talk me into it. So I ended up getting the Jeb DeCreed, the red, white, and blue. And it's really, really good. Solid offering. I think it was $80. $80, right around $80. I want to somewhere around that range. But good stuff.
Smoked.
Yeah, and it made a great old fashioned. But at $80, it should make a good old fashioned.
I was about to say, is it smoky? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I hope so.
I'll do a little tasting here while Brian continues on.
But yeah, and then we left there. We were camping in Georgetown, Kentucky, Whispering Hills campgrounds. If you are camping in Kentucky, that was a great place. Super good location, about 30 minutes away from everything. But as we're pulling into Georgetown, we went to LF Heritage. They have a blending room, and they had just started announcing that you can come in and get tours and tastings. So we went in there and pulled into it. It's on the smaller side, but it's actually really cool. And met the blender, the master blender, and then his stepson. They're both the master blenders, and they were really cool and kind of guided us through a tasting. Honestly, I went to just get the Bloodline offering, the lower entry, and then this one was really good. So I picked up 2 bottles there. But they are in the process of building a new facility. Should be opened up by the end of the summer in Georgetown, where they have a visitor center and a tasting room, and so they've got big things coming. So this is a group to watch out for. So good stuff there.
And they were kind enough to send us some samples. We did a review of that here a while back, if I remember. During the posting of this, I'll try to put a card or a link to the video in the description. So
then we got
check them out.
Then we got to the campground set up the next morning, and I did not bring it up here. So we're gonna have to edit this one.
And we're back.
Okay. And then we went to the campground, and then we ended up getting up the next morning, and I'd never stood in line at Buffalo Trace. So we went to Buffalo Trace, got there, stood in line. The only thing I did not want, because I have a couple bottles in reserve, was Blanton's, and they had Blanton's. Blanton's and Baby Weller. And I was like, what's Baby Weller? So we got in there, and so Baby Weller is...
I wouldn't have known either.
Which is a 375 of Weller. And so I thought that was cool. So I got one, and then actually I've been hitting this one. But we got 2 of those. They were $13.99. So good price. Still got the experience to stand out there and talk to everybody, and so that was fun. And
you're a Weller fan.
Yeah, I like Weller. I wanted Weller. I was hoping to get 2 full bottles of Weller, but that's fine. So then we left there, went to Castle and Key, and so Castle and Key, probably of all the tours I've ever done, was the coolest tour and the coolest place. So
literally a castle, right?
Yeah, it's a castle, and it's just a beautiful scene. So if you ever get a chance to go there, it's you have to go.
It's the old Taylor Distillery, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's just a really unique story with it. It's just really cool. I didn't buy anything there. Their gift shop was a little
they're
higher end, and then I didn't really need anything, so I didn't buy anything. And then we left there and went to Four Roses. So did a tour at Four Roses.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest Four Roses bourbon fan, but I wanted to see the place. I'd seen it at midnight.
Yeah.
When we do this, there's a run that they do in Kentucky where it's a relay run, and every time we go there, they serve bourbon balls that are really good, but it's always like 2 o'clock in the morning when we're going through there and we're flying. So I never really noticed where we were. So went there and did the tour. Ended up they had a shirt. Got me a shirt for $22. So there's cheap merch.
Can't beat that.
So I picked that up, and then we were done for the day. Went back to the campground. Got up the next day, and then we went to Lexington. Okay. So started out at James E. Pepper's, and I had an old fashioned. And one episode from last year, I said it was the most interesting thing we did. That's the SLB challenges too. So I said that the decanter series of James E. Pepper would be what the most interesting man in the world would drink for his old fashions. So
you thought it was going to make a great old fashioned.
I thought it was going to make a great old fashioned. It did not make a great. It made a good old fashioned. It did not make a great.
Not what you expected, right?
Yeah. So so don't rush out to get that.
Yeah.
But it was really good. But a cool place. So they revitalized this whole area. It's super
Bourbon
neat.
District or something like that.
Yeah. The district, and then they
RD1 is there.
They have a tasting facility there still, but they moved.
Okay.
And then Barrel is there.
Okay. I didn't know Barrel was there.
We could not find the RD1 tasting room, though. They told us where it was, and we could not find it. So they weren't advertising it real well.
Somebody took their tasting too far. One too many of those.
No. This was early. But at James E. Pepper, it's really cool. I really enjoyed that one. A lot of history with that. James E. Pepper actually invented the old fashioned. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. It's if you go look in the very first book that was ever put out. He's referenced. He's referenced for they got it from him. So
was he from Louisville or like
he? So there's a Bible. There's a Bible that was written.
The Bible?
No, not the Bible. But he traveled, I think, to New York. But when he went there, he was always said, "Make this drink for me." So he made it, and this guy put out all of his drinks, and that was like it's been around for 200 or 150, 200 years, however old they are. But he was given credits for this. He basically said, "I'm not taking credit for it. This was James E. Pepper's recipe." So pretty cool. I got a shirt there. Got a big shirt. They didn't have my size, so I had to get a little bit bigger. Yeah. But hopefully she'll shrink down. Yeah, I like that, and it was cheap too. Yeah. I think it was like $20.
Sweet.
So I got some cool merch. We left there just right around the corner. We ate there. There was a fire. It was something, I don't remember the name, but it was geared towards firemen. And it was a fireman hangout because there were firemen in there. When we were there was like 5 firemen sitting at the bar. And it was a cool vibe. The whole district had a cool vibe. Had a Goodfellas pizza. And we didn't go in there, but they just turned this whole thing around. It had been empty for 25 years and done nothing, and they turned it into a real thriving district. So, really
speaks
cool.
our language. We like our downtowns.
So. And I did forget to mention. So, no, it was Saturday night. Mm-hmm. So Saturday night, I guess I am between days here. So I got a call from a text from my buddy Rico Wilson, and he said, "Hey, I got an old Fitz. Are you interested in it?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, I'm interested in it." So I had my wife Venmo him some money. So I picked this up, but I didn't get it myself. But I was
spending like crazy on this trip. What a great birthday!
Yeah, so I was in Kentucky, but I did not actually buy this myself. But it was picked up and
produced during the trip.
Right. So it came out on the trip, and this one's awesome. Yeah. And then the last place we went to was Town Branch.
Okay.
And it's Lexington Brewing Company.
Alltech. Is it still called Alltech?
That name doesn't ring a bell.
Okay.
But, maybe.
I was there like 10, 11, 12 years ago, something like that. And they have the brewery and the distillery, and there was the parent company is called Alltech.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went there. I traditionally I've not been a big fan of Town Branch.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm going to do this tasting and see what I find. The tasting consisted of beer and bourbon.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I had their barrel aged bourbon or beer that's really good, and then I had their offerings. And I found this cash drink that was really good. 114.6 proof. Really solid, and actually was pretty cheap. I think this was $49.99.
I might try this. Yeah. I've not had Town Branch since then because I didn't. At that time, I think they were pretty new. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing that was probably around 2014, and they had like a dairy liqueur or something that was just abysmal, and their bourbon was not rough.
Their standard bourbon I don't really care for, but
their rye was really not bad. The rye was really bad. This, by the way, is the best Jepticrete I've ever had.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. And then, like I said, the Town Branch is
sorry, I interrupted you there.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
Which made for. I hit several places, mm-hmm. but you don't want to do too much.
Yeah.
So you want to have time to go back to wherever you're hanging out at, have dinner. We had steaks. It's really good. Yeah, we had steaks on Saturday night, mm-hmm. And then Sunday was my actual birthday.
Okay.
I take that back. We had steaks on Sunday after we got back.
On your birthday.
On my birthday. And that was solid. And then we got up the next morning.
Sorry, we had a card issue. It went full, so we're refilling. So maybe this might look a little funny when we patch it in, but we think you were talking about steaks.
So that's steaks for my birthday, and then was talking about not putting too much into a trip. So you want it to be a good balance between having fun with who you're with.
Can't do too many of them.
Don't do too much. My wife doesn't drink bourbon, mm-hmm. But she enjoys the history of all the places. But I don't want to overwhelm her and get her to the point where she's like, I don't ever want to go on another bourbon trip again.
Yeah.
So I think this was a good mix, and she actually said after it was said and done that did a good job of not doing too much.
Yeah.
So even though, like I said, a lot of people will go on the trail and buy a lot more than this. This was a lot for me, honestly.
Yeah. I was impressed when you brought them up.
Yeah, and they're all really good. I bought them because they tasted good.
This Town Branch is very good.
Yeah, I wanted to experience the distillery, and then if I found something I wanted or liked, then I'm going to buy it.
Right.
And that's kind of how I went about it. And it was fun. So definitely, however. If you get to Kentucky to do it, you can go either direction.
Yeah.
Bardstown's awesome. Frankfort and then Lexington was really cool. There's a lot to offer all the way throughout the state. Obviously, Louisville's good. But there's all kinds of directions you can go from Louisville.
Yeah. And we're really fortunate. We're less than an hour from Louisville. So it's easy for us to get it. I mean, Lexington's like basically 2 hours. Bardstown's like an hour and a half-ish.
Right,
so you could really get to Kentucky easy. But all right, well, thank you for sharing all this and for letting me sample this out. Like I said, this is the best Jepticrete. This was really good. This is like a good tea note.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet tea note. So,
solid stuff. So,
all right, well, let us know about your travel adventures to Bourbon Country. Where are you headed this year? Where have you been this year? And are you going to hit any festivals? Anything like that, just share that in the comments below. We're going to end this episode the same way that we always do. And another happy belated birthday to you, buddy.
Thank you.
We're going to end this episode the same way we always do, and that is when you're with your family and your friends, always share your whiskey.